I'm Lauren Teresa. I'm a former trauma therapist turned content creator. I am a divorcee. I was separated for 3 years and been on and off minimalism and frugality since 2008, since I read the book Your Money or Your Life. And then I read a book about tiny living called You Can Buy Happiness and It's Cheap. And then I read The Minimalists, watched the documentary, and the rest ensued. And I got really into following Warren Buffett and kind of the slow path to wealth slash the millionaire next door. But I did also read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and consumed Mr. Money Mustache blog and got into the idea of retiring early. I have somewhat achieved that. It's questionable at times. Currently, I have a fourplex in Florida. One is an Airbnb unit, and the other three are long-term rentals. And I spent the last 9 months renovating, and now it's up for rent and nothing has rented yet. And so I'm in this weird limbo where I am still retired early, but I'm spending almost all of my monthly budget on both a house in Florida and my living expenses currently. So I am tapped out all the way to the max and subsequently tapping into my savings. I will tell you, nothing feels more uncomfortable than the idea of going back to a job. Although the structure right now does feel comforting, but I have been watching a lot of long form content in this survival mode fear place to control the environment, but wanting to impulse shop like it is going out of style, not for expensive things, but for the very best deal on rolled oats. I was researching today a 5 cubic foot deep freezer and how much would that cost in energy for the year and how much could I store in it? How much gas would that save? I was doing the math and feeling somewhat productive through these thought experiments while also feeling a little out of control. If you're like me, you might be a millennial who grew up with noise, chaos, and shopping addiction, maybe in the form of garage sales and thrifting, but too much stuff, news on 24/7, NPR on at the same time. Now I've been fighting and struggling for this calm, peaceful life. Part of the reason that I got separated and divorced is that I wanted to wake up in peace and I was tired of being in this fearful mentality. And so I was really thinking about how silence and calm for me is a skill gap. I got off short form content a couple months ago and had a creativity bloom and then a little bit of a redux. And I was trying to do too much and I maybe purchased 5 too many craft projects and then ended up decluttering them. Even though the minimalism and clutter influx and outflow has gotten calmer over the years, the impulse to buy to make up for action and creativity still comes in. And it's reaching a fever pitch for me. This idea of being in silence with myself and learning the skill of doing that without an influx of negativity. That is where I watch a lot of ASMR, frugality videos. We're talking pretty much constantly. I'm decluttering, I'm cleaning, I'm taking breaks and simply watching, I'm writing down ideas all day, every day. You can couple that with not working a normal 9 to 5 job and having a lot of free time. I've noticed lately that with this fourplex not being rented and my food slash everything else budget being very slim, and the trajectory of my investment savings not being where I thought it was going to be, and the patience that it is taking for this real estate adventure to get off the ground, I have felt, what's the word? Amorphous, begins with an A. I felt adrift, and I am recognizing the need for some serious grounding in my life. I was running all this through ChatGPT this afternoon. As the people who are alone, not working a 9 to 5, who don't have someone else to bounce ideas off of, often do. I believe I'm using it correctly and not relying heavily on it for emotional supports, because I do feel like I find that internally within myself. But I do use it as my own brain back to me. I don't have to fully heal to lead a good, functional, creative life. I don't have to be perfect to be a minimalist. I don't have to be perfect to be frugal. I don't have to find the oats with the lowest per ounce serving, especially if it means I'm driving around to 5 different stores. It's okay to limit my grocery shopping to once every 3 weeks. I may still get a deep freeze. I was telling my partner about it on the way home from his work. He was calling me before he was going to class, and he was concerned because I wanted to get a convection oven because they use less energy, and I bake and cook every day. And I was like, we're going to lower our energy savings. And I use an espresso machine, and I'm like, we need to get this Breville, this machine. And I'm like, I'm buying all this stuff to optimize my life for frugal reasons. Like, over the long run, these things are going to save me. And though all of those may be practically true, they don't have to happen right now. In fact, they don't have to happen this year. They don't have to happen at all. My nervous system developed in an environment that was not conducive to, there was always input, always coming from all different angles. In getting sober at 24 and being sober for the last 19 plus years, I've had lots of opportunity for meditation and silence with myself, and it's not easy. And now that my kids are not little, they're 6 and 9, I do get moments of quiet to myself, and it feels jarring. And having no short form content, I did download the Freedom app today. I had access to Amazon. For the next 48 hours, I don't have access to it on my phone or on my computer. I could still use Prime benefits and watch TV, and I can use it if I go to Whole Foods, but hopefully I'm not going to Whole Foods. Incorporating quiet and silence and letting my own creativity flow and being me in this world with so much input, it is a little terrifying at times. But if you're dealing with that, I applaud you. I'm proud of you. We don't do this alone. And the reason I make this content is a lot of it's for me, because it's sort of like my journal online. I also think that I just want to need less escape, to trust myself more, and stop abandoning my days to stimulation, which leads to overwhelm, because I either go through days where I run around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to find the cheapest thing at all of the different stores. I could be here creating with you, improving my skills, going for a walk on the beach. I live on a walk. I could be in the ocean with my fish friends every day. And I love minimalism and frugality, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to spend my life just in a house cleaning or in a house cooking or in a house optimizing. That's not why I did it. That's not why I did financial freedom. I wanted to be free to be out there with you. TED Talk over.